Thanks for checking out the Aaron Advantage podcast. Today I am joined by the one and only Mark Fisher, CEO of the Indiana Association of Realtors. Mark, how you doing today?
I'm doing excellent.
Doing excellent. I mean, after the last day and a half we've had of some strategic planning and discussing of the future of the association, I'm feeling pretty positive right now.
I'm pumped. It's we got some good direction, some good energy, and great members.
Fantastic. So I'm going to kick off with the first most important question, the one that probably most of my viewers are going to wonder is, why should anyone care about an association of realtors, specifically the Indiana Association of Realtors?
Well, if you are a member of the Indiana Association of Realtors, hopefully you know the value that we provide, both from an advocacy standpoint, but also what we do to advance the industry and the profession, and really tackle that issue of professionalism. It's a very unique industry with the fact that you've got competitors that come together to cooperate, and I just think that that's just such a wonderful thing, and the difference we make in the state of Indiana.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, especially on the competitors coming together to cooperate. That's been kind of a theme over the last couple of days, and something specifically that I've talked about a lot, is even on my podcast with our local association president and different things, is we are that unique industry that we're in charge of, working together while working against each other in some circumstances. So that's always interesting.
And self-policing.
Yeah,
which is
100%.
Great.
Yeah. So I want to touch real quick on the advocacy piece, because I don't think people are going to be able to see it real well because it's a lot brighter outside than I thought today. But advocacy is really important. And I think you guys have the lock on location, because right over Mark's right shoulder, well, the State House right there, right behind you, right?
Yes, the Indiana State House. All three branches of government are in the Indiana State House, and we've got a 5-story blade sign right outside the Indiana Realtor building,
which is right over here.
So so there's no mistaking where we are. The legislators, the governor's office, they know where we are.
Yeah, the governor can actually see our building out his window. Am I correct?
I think he gave my predecessor a little bit of guff about that. It's so prominent.
It's very prominent there. What kind of advocacy things has the Indiana Association of Realtors been able to accomplish? Obviously, these are things that probably go under the radar for most people, that they don't realize what we're doing to impact, the day-to-day consumer of real estate. And I think that's something that's really important to get out there in front of people.
That's right. We have this role of both advancing an industry in protecting home ownership and advancing our communities, but also thinking about the day-to-day issues that many of our members face and conducting their business and their transactions. So it could be anything from licensure law to a big legislative task force on housing supply. As I've traveled around the state, inventory seems to be top of mind. That is the major driver of the rapid increase in prices, is the lack of inventory. So it's really fun to be able to work on really, really big picture items, but also get into the details of how regulation, we are a regulated industry, and how that regulation impacts our members on a day-to-day basis.
Excellent. With that regulation, I think most people think that that's actually the job that the Indiana Association does, which is regulate the licenses of everybody who's in real estate. And that's not the case, is it?
No. A realtor is not a profession. It is a membership in the National Association, the Indiana Association, and your local association. We represent about 84% of the licensees in the state of Indiana, so it's not 100%, but we are the only entity that is really advocating for private property rights and home ownership, in addition to increasing professionalism amongst our members and licensees.
Yeah, and that professionalism piece, I think, is one of the things that really sets realtors apart from a lot of other people, because, anybody can get a real estate license and get out there and represent people who are buying and selling homes with nobody's interest at heart but their own. But realtors, we have that additional code of ethics and that requirement of professionalism to say, hey, we have a fiduciary responsibility. And above the fiduciary responsibility, just really the whole mindset of, we're going to make sure that we put the consumer first.
That's right. And really, a license is a baseline, right? A realtor really adheres to a code of ethics and a standard of professionalism that goes above and beyond what a law may require. And that really represents the true professionalism of a realtor member, their commitment to fair housing, their commitment to kind of holding themselves. Again, we have a professional standards committee where we administer and kind of intake on professional standards complaints, and then have a tribunal of sorts. So I think that's a really important distinction between what is a licensee and what is a realtor, is that code of ethics and that level of professionalism, that self-policing that goes above and beyond what any law may require.
Perfect. Now let's get into the membership. How many people are members of the Indiana Association of Realtors? It doesn't have to be an exact figure.
We just surpassed 21,000 members in the state of Indiana. Licenses are continuing to be issued. We have new members joining. We've seen it level off a little bit, but it's still increasing. So 21,000, just above 21,000 at this point in time. That's always changing.
Always changing.
Right.
Now that the professional licensing agency is getting caught up on some of that processing and able to get us new licensees, we'll probably see more of those member numbers increase as well.
That's right, but that it's not just on PLA. We got to make sure that we're filling out our paperwork all right and understanding what the process is, and so there is that onus on individual brokers,
on the applicant and the
applicants
broker.
and the brokers, right? It's not just PLA. The state agencies have, like many other industries, staffing challenges. I was told there are 2,000 open positions in the state government.
Wow.
And so you see staffing challenges, you see turnover. And so we've got to give them some empathy on that. And PLA's recently hired some new staff to help this volume. But it's also on us too.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. Let's get into some more fun stuff. Some of the things that IAR...
fun stuff.
The fun stuff. The stuff that IAR does that probably, even up with the amount of involvement I've had myself and all the other things that have been going on, that I didn't even realize was as awesome as it is.
Yeah.
Statewide forms.
Scorcher. But probably the most important service we provide our members. So
I just learned that there are states that don't have statewide forms.
And it hasn't been all that long that we've had statewide forms.
It's
and that's
true.
We've talked a lot about how we reduce that friction in the transaction process, and being able to provide a standard statewide form that is updated with input from our members and professionals every year, and sent out and made available in an easy to use electronic format is you saw the survey results. It's the number one service we provide our members, because that gets to the heart of the day-to-day interaction and transactions they're engaged in.
Absolutely. And most people think of forms and they're like listing contract, purchase agreement. But Andy Rudolph, our state president, and I often joke about the fact that we've created our own education piece called There's a Form for That. Because literally IAR has come up with a form for basically every single scenario that you can think of.
Well, but that's a result of the member engagement in developing those forms. The market is dynamic. Things are going to change year to year, and to have a group of committed individuals, some with legal backgrounds, many with just their professional experience, coming to the table and saying, hey, this is something that's come up a lot in recent transactions. We need to add it to the form.
Right.
That is, again, the power and the beauty of our association is the members are driving that, and we're responding to the needs of our members.
Yeah, and the fact that you're doing that in a way to standardize that, to make it so easy for all the members across the state, when so many other states aren't doing that, I think that is just something that's awesome and a huge, huge benefit to the professionals in our industry, for sure.
I'm really eager to go, now that I know some of these states that don't have, I want to go.
I kind of want to go.
I'm going to a meeting with my peers in June, and I was like, what are you doing?
I want to know the conversations that they're having, and we're like, hey, what are the issues you're seeing with multiple offers? Because I can tell you right now, even when they're all on the same form, when you're getting 15 offers,
right,
it's complicated enough. Trying to navigate 15 different forms with 15 different offers, I can't even imagine.
That's right. Or more than 15 different forms, right?
That's true. There's plenty of markets where they're seeing 50, 60 offers on a home.
That's right.
Hopefully they have some standardized forms there.
Yeah, we'll see. Not my problem. I'm here to serve the Indiana members.
There you go. Another great thing that we offer in Indiana that I thought was a huge benefit to my business and to my involvement in the association and everything else, something you're going through personally right now, the Indiana Leadership Academy.
Absolutely.
As someone who is new to the industry in some ways, someone who came from a different background previously, talk a little bit about your experience and kind of the process that you've been, I mean, you got thrown right in the deep end.
I think it was my first or second day. Kathy Harbaugh, our senior vice president, was, "Hey, we have a leadership academy." I'm like, yeah, and we want you to go through it. I agreed. It was a great opportunity for me. I have the opportunity to work with some amazing people. Our board of directors is second to none. But it gave me such a great opportunity early on in my tenure here at IAR to interact with up and coming realtors. Some of them are managers, some of them are managing brokers, some of them are just brand new to the industry. And so I've just picked their brain. Why did you get in the industry? What's your experience? What are the pain points for you? And so it's kind of that opportunity to interact with the frontline folks.
Yep.
In a less formal setting, because when I go out to things, I like to wear my suit and tie, and it's a little more casual setting at Leadership Academy.
He likes to wear a suit and tie. He says, "I've never seen him in anything other than maybe the ties come off once or twice."
I was at an event for a member company, kind of doing my spiel on the benefits of IAR, and I sat through this panel discussion when I was talking about how he got into the industry, and he said, "Well, I really didn't want to put on a suit and tie and get in my car and drive down to an office and work 9 to 5." And I think that is reflective in a large swath of our membership. And I got up right after him and said, nothing gets me out of bed in the morning like getting up and putting on a suit and tie, getting in my car, driving to the Indiana Realtor building and serving you, our members. And the crowd kind of laughs. And it's the Leadership Academy. I'll say I've gone through some local leadership academies here in Indianapolis. Our program is as good, if not better, than any program I've been through.
Nice.
There's individual leadership, how to be a better individual, how to be a better realtor, how to be a better board member of your local or state association, how to be a better speaker. So we do media training and presentation skills, conflict resolution, team building exercises. It's just it's been a great experience.
Does my good buddy Paul Wyman still come in and teach Robert's Rules?
Oh, Robert's Rules. Oh, man. And
does he still provide the fork?
I don't know about the fork.
Okay.
But he did. And, I've worked in government relations for almost 20 years now, and I've been on a lot of boards and parliamentary procedure. I'd say by far everybody should have Paul Wyman come in and teach Robert's Rules of Orders. I learned so much, and then the best part about it is I'm sitting in a committee here in the next week and at the State House, and I'm like, no. A motion to table does not need a second, and I learned that from Paul Wyman after 20 years of doing this. So It was great.
I'll tell you what, that is one of the things that I kind of get called out as a stickler in our local association as the parliamentarian all the time, and being the guy who knows this stuff and enforces the rules. And
you're that guy.
And it 100% stems from listening to Paul Wyman during Leadership Academy. So I am that guy 100%, which is why I'm more comfortable chairing committees now than I've ever been before.
Right.
So that's always
it really
fun.
does teach you how to be a better individual, but how to be that community, that civic, and that association leader as well.
Yeah. Now, I want to touch on something that I think is more important than almost anything else with what you do, which is taking the feedback of the members and getting them involved. And I think that the engagement from the Indiana Association with the local associations and the day-to-day membership is one of the things that I think is just really cool and something that I'm really passionate about. Talk to us about this volunteer interest profile that you guys kind of put together to get more involvement, because, not just consumers, but also other real estate professionals listen to this podcast, and they may not be aware, even though, we've put it in front of them plenty of times. Realtors are not known for their ability to read and open all their emails. So
no comment. As I was interviewing for the job, I was told about this new governance structure, and we have gone through some changes at the state level with our board, going from a board of 47 to 17. What I didn't realize was it hadn't been implemented yet. So my first year as CEO was this new governance structure, and I wholeheartedly agree with the changes we've made. It allows us to be strategic. It allows us to be more nimble, respond or even get ahead of market trends or industry trends or of public policy issues. But it feels a little bit limited in how we reach out to the individual members, the individual managing brokers. And so we have a lot of great volunteer opportunities, if it's standing committees or work groups or our PAGs, a term I learned since I've joined the Realtors Association.
Presidential Advisory Group, for those that don't know.
Thank you. I wasn't sure which one it was. So we have these great opportunities, but we also want to avoid this notion of, it's a good old boys club, and we're going to get the same voices, because you get the same voices around the table, you're going to get the same results.
Right.
And so we need to make sure that the people at the table, because if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, are reflective of our membership. That means geographic diversity, it means age diversity, it means company size diversity, it means experience diversity. And so it really, we need to make sure that we bring new, fresh perspectives. And so we wanted to create this volunteer interest profile to allow people to kind of register what they're interested in, what they think their skill sets are. And then that is the group. When we form new groups or have vacancies on our committees, that's the form we go to. That's the list we go to pull from, because those are people that have expressed that interest and have said, these are the things I'm interested in, and here's what I can bring to the table. So it's very important that if you're interested in getting involved, fill out that VIP form. Absolutely.
And that's one of those things that I think even myself, I didn't know how to get involved previously, and so I just started asking questions on my own, because I was that curious guy, and I was like, what do I do? Where do I go?
Who
do
ask
I talk
questions?
to? I do ask questions. I make statements more than I ask questions. You know who I am and how I operate, so yes, that's fair. I think you've known me
7 months,
about 7 months, and have already called me out on multiple occasions in a variety of places on, hey, keep the microphone away from that guy.
Now, in fairness, I did come to the holiday party, and you were a wonderful MC, but you made the remark, I can't believe they gave me a microphone.
I did.
So I'm following your lead. That's all.
Well, that's fair enough. Let's talk about some of the things, some data queries that you've discussed, and some things that are probably going to be coming up, and reasons that an association is still valuable.
Yeah.
Well, mortgage rates.
Yeah.
We know they're going up.
And they're going to continue to go up.
And how does that impact the market? I hear the housing bubble word being thrown around a whole lot right now.
Well, I think we got to be careful about what we're talking about with the bubble, right?
Exactly.
Prices have gone up, but this isn't 08, right?
Right.
This isn't 09, which was easy money and almost an oversupply of housing. So when it all came crashing down, it just plummeted. The prices and the values plummeted, and we found people underwater for years.
Right.
We have a supply constraint issue right now, and that is causing the rapid increases in prices, is that we haven't had a year-over-year increase in inventory since 2014. Mm-hmm. We've added 210,000 people to our state since 2014. So we have a supply issue. This is an inflationary environment for not just houses, but for food, for gas. We have supply chain problems.
Right.
And so we have labor shortages, which is causing labor, the wages to go up. All these inputs are rising, and in the homes, the housing market isn't escaping that inflationary pressure either. The Fed is moving to tamp down on demand. They can, through increasing interest rates, impact demand. Mm-hmm. We have to have a supply side and a demand side, right? They're trying to impact demand, and it's having its intended impact. We've reading stories this morning about the housing market's cooling. We're hearing from individual members, yeah, I'm experiencing a little cooling down. I don't see a crash coming, but it's certainly maybe a cooling or a more rational market. Maybe.
There we go. That's what I've been telling people.
Right. It's a more rational market.
It's normalizing.
Right. So, we know the Fed has indicated they're going to increase rates probably 2 more times. That's going to put more pressure on interest rates. And that will cool the demand. What we are interested in are we seeing people, especially in like the spring, early spring, kind of flooding the market, rushing to market to get ahead of those interest rates increase. And so are we kind of seeing a double dip or double shortage of demand, because first people are naturally, okay, well, maybe it's a little bit more expensive to purchase that house, but also they flooded into the market early to get ahead of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
and the other thing that I tell people on top of that is, supply and demand is definitely one thing that we're discussing. The other thing is there's so much more equity in properties
absolutely
today, and we're at a fixed interest rate market as compared to all of the adjustable rate mortgages that were going on in 2005, 2006, that once they adjusted, people couldn't afford their houses anymore.
That's right.
People are putting themselves in a position where they're locked in for 30 years,
right.
15 to 30 years, depending on where they're at. So I really don't see any kind of crash on the horizon. I'm kind of happy to see some of this normalization that's taking place. Does it change the way that realtors have to operate? Absolutely. But by staying ahead of that and being educated, and the information that's put out by people like IAR and local associations and ways to make sure you're taking care of your consumer, I think we're going to be on the right side of things.
And a little historical context. I mean,
they're still great
it's
rates.
Still really good rates, right? I mean,
my first house, I paid 6.5%, and I was told how amazing that rate was.
I mean, my debt, 18%, right?
Right.
It's so. I will say, that the ARMs, I saw that ARMs are back at their highest level since 2009. So people are looking at those options. But these are the questions we're asking. How high will it go, and how will it impact the market? And big concern for us at the association is 53% of our membership has been in the industry less than 8 years, and that means they've not seen. Almost their entire professional career is irrational market almost, right? And so, how do we better serve our members, and how do then, in turn, they better serve their customers and the consumers by helping them understand, historical context and what a long-term investment looks like and what the options are in future years. So, again, it's still really good rates.
Yeah. The 30-year average, I think, is still at 7%. So, I mean, we're looking pretty good right now. Yeah. So, another big important thing is with the low inventory, high prices, high demand for homes. This is one of the things that unfortunately a lot of people don't talk about because they feel like it might sound too self-serving.
Yeah.
A lot of sellers can just do it on their own. It's super easy. They don't need any kind of professional help. Is a misunderstanding that I think is in the marketplace.
Absolutely. If you're a realtor member right now, I highly, highly encourage you to get online, state website. We've got the buyer and seller's profile. And they ask people, what are you looking for? Why do you go to a realtor? Is it to make sure that your house is in the best condition, understanding the comps in the market, somebody that has a very specialized knowledge of that individual neighborhood? Again, making sure your house is ready, making sure that you get the right price point. So, if you have time constraints and you need to get it sold quickly, or you can wait a little bit, but really pricing it right, and then helping you through. It's an extremely emotional process.
Yeah.
I am not a practitioner. I've bought and sold a few houses in my day, and I can tell you it is so emotional. And my realtor was that trusted advisor, was that almost a counselor and emotional support at times, right?
100%.
But there's the technical side, and then there's the emotional side, and so, you can sell your house, but what are you leaving on the table?
Exactly.
What are you forgetting?
I think the national statistic that I saw most recently was people who sell their home without the assistance of an agent end up netting about $80,000 less on average.
And go pay your attorney to write up that contract too.
Exactly. Do you think they're going to do that for free? Absolutely not. So the other thing that I would say is, so many people, you talk about the emotional side of it.
Yeah.
But for the vast majority of the people out there, this is your largest financial instrument in your life.
Absolutely.
I can invest my money and try to figure out the best way to increase my wealth and do other things, but I don't, because I don't specialize in that.
That's right.
I don't want to be the person that's like, I can do this 1 or 2 times every 5 years or so and think that I'm an expert and try to handle it myself.
Right.
So that's one of those things I'm always like, I would not trust myself to do things that I'm competent enough to do it. But I don't know what I don't know, and I don't know what kind of trouble I'm getting myself into.
Right. They're experts that really specialize in what they do. And realtors play such an important role, that especially ones that really know a very niche market and can really help you understand. I heard somebody say, don't discount the services you're providing to your clients, because they're so important. And as a consumer, I can tell you that peace of mind of knowing I've got a strong advocate on my behalf that's going to help me not just at the point of sale, but the entire journey and deciding if I want to sell my house, and if I do, what's the price point? What do I need to do to get it ready? I think so much is focused on, for sale by owner. It's just that one transaction, but it's an entire journey, an entire process.
Yeah, I think the most successful realtors that I know are the people who put the emphasis on the relationship with the client. well beyond the transaction.
That's right.
I tell everybody that I work with, like, I'm here to serve you before, during, and after the sale.
That's right.
I'm not just the guy who shows up at the closing, hands you a thank you gift, and then walks out, and then you never hear from me again. So I think most realtors want to be that trusted advisor who want to stay involved in their clients' lives and who want to help them with stuff outside of just the home. You know, when people have problems of, you know, hey, I'm trying to find a mechanic and I don't know who to turn to, I want to be the first call that those people make. Right. Because I want them to realize, like, hey, I'm here to take care of you, not just try to earn a commission check whenever you go to buy or sell a home.
That's right.
So I think this industry, I'm fortunate enough that I've only had this as the only real job I've ever had in my life. I started when I was 19 years old, got licensed, worked all through college as an administrative kind of pro for a team, and then started doing this on my own. And I can tell you that this is probably the most rewarding thing that I could ever see myself doing, because really we're all kind of running our own businesses. Right.
You know, and it's beyond that, again, beyond that transaction and beyond that individual relationship, but it's, you know, our members are so committed to their communities. They're the most involved and engaged people I know. Yeah. And they're often the front door to a community. And so especially you have somebody moving from out of town, your realtor isn't just showing you the house, they're showing you the amenities, they're showing you the schools, they're showing you what that community has to offer, and taking a lot of that kind of angst off of moving to a place where you may not know a lot of people, or maybe you're moving for a job, or you know, you're following your partner to a new community, and your realtor is often that first point of contact, and they're so knowledgeable and passionate about their individual communities.
Yeah. You earlier said we had 220,000 people who have moved to the state of Indiana. They probably have no point of reference of anything that's going on where they're at, other than the realtor who is introducing them and bringing them in and showing them around.
That's right.
So.
That's right.
Mark, I really appreciate your time today. Is there anything else specifically that you think is important for people to know about the Indiana Association of Realtors?
Yeah, you know, we're really here to serve our members and in turn protect the customer. You know, the realtor is there as that trusted advisor and really protecting the homeowner and the consumer. And so, you know, really, we're in here. We at the association are here to serve them.
Yeah. So. Well, like I said, I really appreciate your time today. I think this is some fantastic information, and we'll definitely have to make this happen again sometime in the future.
Next time down in Evansville.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. Hey, this is Aaron Luttrull. Thank you so much for checking out the Aaron Advantage podcast. If you would like to be a guest, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. We're always looking for other people to interview.